Meet Marissa. She's my little plant. She's a money tree. She's a little droopy today. We haven't had sunshine a lot in the last few days, and I do not have a light for her yet, but I'm going to get one. I brought her up today because in my old place of living, she was little and I had just gotten her, and the environment and situation that I was in was not a good one at all, as you can hear in my prior audios. But this is how we grow and learn and prosper in our lives. So before, she was getting the water, she was getting the light, and she was in a negative environment. There were little gnats coming around her, and I thought she was going to have to be put outside and just kind of tossed away. But I continued to have faith in my life, and I moved and I brought her with me. When I got here, and I'm going to try to find pictures of when I got here, she was much smaller. She ended up, I was trying to hang the curtain rod in this little tiny bedroom, and I ended up dropping, still a little bit new with the drill with household things that I'm doing, yeah. But I ended up dropping like a screw, and then something else fell while I was on a ladder. Because again, not good at this. I can flip furniture pretty well, and I know like what color schemes I want and everything, but like the whole execution of like the actual things, not super good at, but learning. Moral of the story is a few of her leaves ended up getting knocked off of her, and I was devastated. But she's still growing, she's still green, she's abundant, she's prosperous, all the things. She's in a positive environment now. When I was doing the audio releases of when I was being very much yelled at and gaslit in this room, I had to leave this room and not do those anymore because she started to droop, and like she was still getting light and water and all the things that she needed. It was a lot more sunny during that time. But it just goes to show you, if you're in a negative situation, whether it be physical, emotional, mental, sexual, it doesn't matter. Schmexual. Sorry, I think I said it too much. When you're in that type of an environment and you're not being treated properly, you become like the plant. You might get droopy, you might get sad, you might get depressed, you might not feel like there's any hope left. And it can be absolutely devastating. But what we need to remember, and what I've learned so much in my journey, and it's been a long journey. There's been lots of ugly crying, lots of screaming, lots of tears, lots of being broke, lots of overtime, lots of multiple jobs just to keep a roof over my head on my own. But what I will say is this. It's a long journey, and healing is not easy, and it requires a lot of fortitude and effort to remember who you are and to reclaim your dignity before you were in that situation. And it doesn't just happen to women, it happens to men too, even though it's a lot less common. But we get like that plant. If you go back in my videos, there was a point in time where I was considering choosing not being here anymore, here on this planet. And my life has done a full 360, and healing, I don't think we're ever there. I don't think we're ever fully done. It's kind of like manifestations and things that you listen to. You know, we're never fully done. You're going to get a new car that you want, or a new place that you want, or a new house, or whatever it is that you want materialistically, coming from someone that's not super materialistic. But you're going to get these new things, and eventually you'll want more, you'll want to move, or you'll want to do something. But what I will say is, right now, I'm the most healed I've ever been in my life. And it feels totally different. It's a totally different vibe to be, if you're a woman, in your soft era that you've created. So when I leave my cute little apartment, I feel safe. I wouldn't say that I don't carry mace or other things, but what I will say is I feel safe. In my old life, I did not feel safe. I was looking around all the time, constantly, like, when's the other shoe gonna drop? Am I gonna get hit today? Am I gonna get screamed at today? And this is like a culmination of all my prior relationships. So it's not just specifically the last one, because the last one, he never hit me. So that's what made it harder to walk away from, because you think they'll eventually change or go back to who they were when you met them. So dealing with narcissism is a lot harder psychologically, I would say, than the other types of abuse. And if you've been through them all, then you know. But again, what I will say is that healing is so worth it, but we need to focus on being our best version of ourselves. So if you are not in a safe place and you are not being treated properly, think of yourself as a plant, but you have emotions too, of course. You need sunlight, you need air, you need water and all the things. But you need to be in an environment, and even if it means being alone for a little bit, that supports you in every aspect that you are. So if someone is bullying you on a daily basis, you're not going to be able to thrive as much as you would be able to if you were just being alone and you started to heal yourself. And what I see so commonly in most of the people that I'm talking with now, that I'm trying to help get out of abuse or narcissistic relationships or just plain toxic things, is that either there's a fear of being alone, a fear of being seen as not enough, not good enough, not enough for your person, especially in the narcissistic relationships or abusive relationships, because there's a tendency to think, if I did this differently, if I was just this, if I lost 20 pounds, if I had more money, if I had this, that, or the other thing, that they're going to start treating me nicely. And that is never, ever, in my experience, or any of the experts that I follow, listen to, have taken classes from, etc., their experience either. Generally, if you're in this dynamic, it gets worse or you leave. Either A or B. There's generally not a whole bunch of other routes around it, unfortunately. So you can either choose path A or path B. And what I will say is, after all of the things that I've done to heal myself, and it's not been easy, I started to shift my perspective. If this was my last year here on this earth, and I have grown children, so I know it's harder with younger children or littles at home, but if this was my last year, and back where I was before, because again, I was facing maybe just opting out. And I hope nobody out there that's listening to this is, but if you are, I need you to know that we need you here. So if you woke up breathing today, we need you here. Somebody out there needs you here. You need you here. We need you here. But when you're facing that, it's very hard. And it's easy to fall down the pit of not good enough, or I deserve this, or something's wrong with me and that's why they're treating me the way they are. But that is never the case. But we can only choose what we choose. And a relationship takes two people. So there's still a form of accountability with this. Just hold on, hear me out. Don't freak out. Don't get mad at me. Don't hate at me. It takes two people to be in a relationship. So if you're not being treated properly, and I know that it's hard, and I know that depending on how you are in your life, in your dynamic, financially, emotionally, whatever it is, Ali, you have a choice. And it might not feel like it at this moment in time. It might not. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. You have a choice. You can somehow eventually get out of it. Even though it seems impossible, you can somehow get out of it. If I can get out of what I was in, anyone can do it. And I've been through some effing bad times in my life. And if you hear some of the audios, that was the not hit me version. He never hit me. But I've been in an abusive relationship where I did have a gun held to me when I would threaten to leave or want to, get my kids out of there. It did happen. And when you're in that, it seems like you really don't have another choice. You're just trying to survive every day. But it can and does get better. But you have to think about this smartly, and you have to plan an exit strategy, and you have to put everyone's safety first. So your safety first, your kids' safety first. That is the most important part. And then when you make that choice to leave, it seems hard, but you have to make it as a permanent decision. So if you're in this dynamic and someone comes back to you, just know that if you decide to go back into it, and I'm telling you from experience, it just gets substantially worse. So please, if you're listening to this and you're in the middle of it right now, I know it sucks a lot. I know it does, and I know it's hard. But if you're in the middle of it, please do not go back, because it will inevitably get worse. And I know that from experience. But what I will tell you is that I also know that once you make it out and you've decided to either go no contact or very minimal contact, especially if you have children, and you do the things that are necessary, that life can get so much better. I'm sitting here in this little apartment right now. I'm pretty sure I just went over my lunch, and at this point I don't even care. But am I working a lot? Yeah. But once you heal and you get to that place where you can stand on your own 2 feet and you do not need someone else in your life, that's when the real journey actually starts. The whole thing is a journey. We're all in this journey. We are all walking every day in a journey. But when you get to that point where you're paying your own bills, you have your own vehicle, you have your own place, and it's safe, and no one is screaming at you on a daily basis, and you're working on whatever goals you want to achieve, that's the sweet spot, right in that sweet spot. That is where I am right now, and I have fought off demons and shapeshifters in this world. And someone was talking to me today. One of my friends was saying, hey, we should start this like true crime or horror podcast thing. And I was like, yeah, I'm totally in. We should definitely do that. But the problem is that I see these horror movies, and coming from where I've been, the real horror isn't on the effing TV. It's standing right in front of me, screaming at me. So there's that. If you're listening to this right now and you are in the middle of any of that stuff, take a minute. Even if you're ready to go to sleep, you are doing dishes, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Take a hot second. Think about your life and think about what path you would like to choose to get away from the person that is being mean to you. Because again, no one in this world is perfect. We all fall short. But please know that if you're being bullied or pushed around or abused in any way, shape, or form, that you deserve better than that. And if better means alone for a little bit of time, then that's fine. But it can get better, and it will get better, and we need you here. So if you hear this and you're out there and you need help, you let me know. Just message me. If you are scared to message because you are being monitored, remember that you might have a friend out there that needs to share a recipe that you haven't seen in a very long time. And if I need to be that friend that you need to share a recipe with, then I will be that friend. So all you have to do on here is message me. Tell me what my name is in your version of the story, so that I can be that person that shares whatever recipe you decide to message me with, and I will help you get out of it one way or another. I will do everything in my power to help you. That's my mission. It's just so hard. But seeing when you make it up to the top of the mountain and you look down and you see where the F you've come from, and you can see the expanse across the horizons of, wow, I finally did this. My life is better. We know it's not ever going to be easy, perfect, rainbows, unicorns, butterflies. Well, no, there's butterflies. Not glitter falling out of the skies in general, unless you decide to do that from your balcony. I mean, whatever. Things are not ever going to be perfect. but we can darn well make them better. And if you have kids and you're in a bad situation, they're seeing that too. So I feel like we just need to be the generation of people in general. And again, not just women, but we need to be the generation that says, you know what, F that. We all deserve better. We all deserve to be treated at least kindly. And again, do fights happen? Absolutely. Does the person that you're fighting with need to scream at you and bully you and make you feel like you're not safe? Absolutely effing not. That's what I will say. So from my cute little apartment to yours, and if you don't have it yet, I want you to think about what it's going to look like when you get there, because we're going to figure this stuff out. 2026 is our year. The texts and the messages that I'm getting from people are staggering, and it makes me sad, and we need to fix this. We need to do better because we all deserve better. We do. Okay. I love you. You got this. If you need to send me a recipe request, you just do that. Okay. And like I said, I'll help you in any way I'm able to do it. There's another video on here. Pretty sure it's got a pink heart on the start of it. So if you click that one, the number for the hotline that you might need is in there, and they have a texting option, they have a messaging option, or they have a calling option. That would be your first best bet. I can't help everybody, but I'm going to darn well try to help anybody that comes to me. Okay? Have an amazing day. You got this. Keep going. Stay hydrated and stay well to the best of your ability. Stay safe. Be smart. Safety first, and I love you. And I have faith in you, and I believe in you, and you can do this. Because if I can do this, anybody can.